and they'll tell us, here's where it's at. So, you know, our rates in the last 7 years have increased 35%. We don't have great detail that's told us.
It's gone up 35% over all those years at once? I mean, not per year.
No, cumulative total, 35% increase.
That's very good.
Yes. And a couple of years ago, we went, if you'll remember, for those that were on council at the time, we looked into a self-funded option, self-insured.
Yeah.
And interesting enough, that year, Blue Cross Blue Shield came back with a 4% decrease. Okay?
When would this actually take effect? I mean, when are they planning on implementing the entire thing? Do they have a date in
Yes,
mind?
the planned launch for this program will be January 1st of 2022.
Okay,
Our renewal date is March 1st of 2022. I'm still working with, Tiffany and I will meet with our Blue Cross Blue Shield representative tomorrow, as well as Christy Powell, the Vice President of IMA Insurance, is working on our behalf, trying to level out how do we merge the start dates and to be included in the launch, even though we would be under our grandfather for that 2-month period.
okay.
Still have details to work out on that piece of it. The main thing is, everything we're doing, make sure it does not impact an employer coverage or any of that type stuff. It's just, how do we position ourselves for the future? Do we desire to continue to control our destiny completely, or do we want to become part of a larger group and hopefully shed some of the risk?
Any other questions from the council? I assume you need a motion?
I do need a motion to, share with Kate that it is our intent to continue with exploring this option, or at this time, we decided to proceed what we have.
Well, I'll move to approve our interest in participation with KMET regarding health insurance. Is there a second?
Second.
Moving second, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried, 4-0.
Thank you for your counsel.
Number 10, discussion of potential trails grant. Roger?
Okay, from Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks and then the Federal Highway Administration, I received Thursday, an announcement that they have a recreational trail program application that they're opening up and accepting applications through November 15th. The city in the past has at various times explored options of using the old rail bed within the city limits, which the Kansas Conservatory, I mean, when all of that occurred, it went under control of the city within our limits. The other potential trail that's been explored, as far as our city, would be to utilize the top of the levee to create a walking trail, biking trail, but we'll have to get the approvals through the Corps of Engineers. And we're coming to council this evening, because this particular grant shows an 80-20 grant. We would have to provide 20% of the funding, but what I saw of interest in here was that they'll even let us use in kind on this, meaning we could use our equipment to lay down the bed, depending on how it's engineered, all of that. So this evening, I don't have project details. We're simply trying to find, this council have an interest. It was shared with you, and I've had several of our younger families contact me over the last several but this is a desire, they would like to do something. The, Marion Advancement Campaign has approached the city, could they do something if, gain right of way? For this, it has to be something that the right of way is already under our control. It's not where we can go out and purchase land or right of way or create easements. So the project has to be scoped around what's currently available.
This is something if we, would move forward with this, and we can, we'll decide at a later date if we wanna accept it, or we can pull back out, or we can, we're committed.
I'll bring a submission to you
Okay,
before the October 15th, November 15th, for your decision if you wanna go forward.
okay. Do we have any kind of estimate on cost?
Depends on what you do, how long.
Yeah,
We can do in kind, and it's only 20% for us?
20%.
That's incredible.
There's been interest in this activity for a long time.
Yes.
And I don't know how it could not benefit the community.
Yeah, the opportunities from KDOT, I've not seen one as rich as this for a grant match in the past, so.
I'd like to read this, letter here that these 50 people have signed. It says, this is October 4th, 2021, dear Marion City Council members. We are writing this letter to show our support for the city of Marion applying for a grant to help offset the cost of constructing a recreational hike and bike trail. We believe that a bike path would greatly improve our community for several reasons. The addition of a bike path would help Marion continue to attract young families to town, as well as provide a safe alternative to walking and biking on streets. This is especially true for families with young children who may just be learning to ride their bikes. We hope you will consider our support for this agenda item when deciding whether to move forward with applying for a grant or not. So,
So I'm looking, I guess, scope of project. How would you like to explore the levy system? Would you like to use, see what we can look at on the abandoned railways?
what, I guess we'd have to do that first, wouldn't we, before we apply for the grant?
Right, I have to be able, tonight I'm just looking for your desire on how should we put together a project? And then I can give you an update on, this one would be X amount of dollars, this one we would project.
Would it be too much to do both, the railroad and the levy?
To figure out which, you mean,
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah.
As far as planning a project or doing all
No.
No,
Giving
just
options.
options. The railroad may or may not work, the
of it, I
levy we could
spend all
probably
on
make work.
creating options for you.
Let's do two more.
So do you need a motion to that effect, or just get the council to agree?
I really don't, I just need your support to go ahead and start exploring this and reach out to the various entities that I need to contact.
All right, you have my support.
And mine,
Mine,
We have mine too, because I think the sooner we get started, and we know there's a lot of interest in this, the better off we'll be. But I had somebody mention to me over the weekend, the trail around the park down here is terrible. I can't walk it because of my knee, but has anybody been out there and walked that trail?
I have no idea.
It's grown back since they poured it last year. So,
Well, they said they couldn't hardly.
Yeah, I know.
Get through to it, so, I don't know, cause I haven't seen it, so.
a former employee took a tractor and just completely poured it a year ago, but you gotta keep it cleared or it comes back.
Well, we can, Roger can have the park guy look into that.
You have my support.
Okay.
I'll help you, Roger.
I respectfully decline.
Just looking for a reaction.
Got it.
Okay. Number 11, staff request for work session, workforce development. Roger?
I'm requesting of city council some of your time to sit down and do a work session regarding our policies, practices on retention, recruitment, and reinvestment in our city team. Off and on this entire time since the pandemic, we've been anywhere from 4 to 6 employees down. It just took us 7 weeks to get a lineman to replace one that left. I believe there's some issues inside the city that we need to resolve to make this a place that is the employer of choice. At the same time, we have macroeconomic issues that are hitting us hard. There's a lot of organizations that are using recruitment incentives, they're using retention and financial incentives, and as well as the benefit package. If we continue trying to work with this many folks down, it's becoming difficult to get what's expected done in a manner that they can show the pride that they all want to show. So I'm requesting of you, I don't care when, whatever you all are convenient for your schedules, but where the city council and the department heads could get together, have a work session, and just discuss our concerns that are going on. If I need to explain, part of the challenges that we're facing, we've got 50% of the senior staff is eligible to retire within 3 years. Right now, I have 20% of the whole organization that's eligible to retire within that time frame. There's a lack of a defined succession plan. It threatens our capabilities to identify and meet the strategic objectives. Our loss of institutional memory and expertise is starting to impact capabilities within the city. The recruitment of qualified staff into leadership and highly technical positions has become increasingly difficult. You have some organizations that are throwing unreasonable amounts of pay to recruit people and to fill positions. The recruitment of young talent in the municipal sector, not just our city, but government jobs are not being seen as a place where young folks want to come. We need to talk about those. In the private sector, salaries have always been seen as uncompetitive compared to private sector, so we need to look at that balance. So that's the request of the department heads and the administrator. We would like the time just to sit down, talk it through, and see if there is a path to help us with.
I think that'd be a good idea. I know a lot of industries and other places are having a hard time, getting recruiting people to work. A lot of it due to the fact of the unemployment that's been paid out. A lot of people don't want to go back to work, but I think that's coming to an end, and I think we could sit down and discuss what we need to do to help with this. But I'm ready to do it. Does council feel the same way?
Sure.
Do you have a date in mind, like maybe next Monday? Does that work for everybody, or?
It's a holiday.
Yeah,
Sorry.
next Monday is out.
What's your point?
It's a holiday.
Can't work on a holiday?
That is our church's
No, I
Lord's
wouldn't
Acre
have.
dinner, so
There
we
we
couldn't
go.
do it Monday.
That's what he meant.
We're being difficult. Give me a date, I can do it about any time.
Which,
Would
you're
Monday,
talking about late afternoon, like our meetings, or evening, or
whatever
morning?
you would like to do, if you do it on or off council, the 25th. I'm sorry, I cannot do it the 25th.
Well,
Maybe a different night of the week.
yeah, something different than a meeting, right?
Always the last week of the month is when I have less meetings and stuff in the evenings, if you want, have to do it in the evening, but. Let's see.
November
Tuesdays
8th.
work good for me.
Yeah, I'm available almost any time. Bruce?
I'm not
I
available.
am too,
Anytime.
yeah.
I
I'm not
guess Chris,
available the last week.
Except if
of
I have a
October.
doctor's appointment, that's the only thing. That's great.
I guess not up to you, Chris.
Does a Tuesday work for
We're
you,
good.
Chris?
Tuesdays are fine, but Roger said you had a problem with Tuesday.
No, I think it was the 25th on a Monday, wasn't it?
Well, I have a problem those first 3 days of that.
Oh, that's all right, it doesn't have to be the last week,
Well, what
any
about the
Tuesday.
12th
will
or
work.
the 19th, those
Yeah.
are both Tuesdays. Those work for me.
19th would be better for me,
Okay? What time would you like to-
our usual time.
Suits me.
Okay.
Is there a volleyball, anything that night that Klein wouldn't be able to come?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
I think most of the games are kind of wrapping up, is that the last week of the playoffs?
You were worried about the night.
The school calendar doesn't show anything on the 19th.
Okay.
The 18th and 20th it doesn't.
So what we good with, 19?
Yep,
19th at 4:30?
4:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay. Number 12, Counselor, anything you want to speak to?
I have a few items. Carrie Newell called me today and wanted to know if there was any action taken on the letter you received from the attorney over handicap situations.
I have that letter, I've been in contact with our engineer, I've got it, have forwarded it to him to take a look at, so we're working on that.
Okay, thank you. And then, I know you guys went to, KPP meetings here recently. Did you hear anything on the 12.5 project?
Not at that meeting. The 12.5 project, we have materials on order. Some of them will start arriving on October 11th. Right now, we have it as November 8th for pre-construction meeting with the ISE Electrical with a tentative start date of November 15th. Predicated on that I've got enough of the supplies here.
Thank you. And then, was
Holes
any,
and bolts seem to be the problem.
was anything said about, I know it's been in the making, was anything said at the meeting about building a power plant? And would it be possible to get it in Marion County?
They are looking at building an 80 megawatt power plant. Right now, they've identified 3 sites through their consultant agent. We are not one of those sites. And it's predicated on the access to availability of natural gas hub, because this will be a quick startup, quick shutdown generator, and they have to be able to get massive amounts of natural gas. So
So probably Rice County.
that's one of them, Sumner County, and I apologize, I don't remember off the top of my
I
head.
was kinda hoping Marion County would be in the running for that. Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Department reports.
I have nothing.
Randy?
Well, I probably have something I need to say. Thursday, I notified Roger of my intent to retire again, November the 1st. And I believe Friday morning, each of the council, each city council member, the mayor, city attorney, and city clerk received that notification from Roger. Later that afternoon, I was distressed a little bit to get a phone call from the Marion County Record wanting to ask me questions about my retirement. And I couldn't figure out where that had come from, because obviously there were only 7 people plus me on the receipt of the email. But nevertheless, I enjoyed speaking with Phyllis, and I will be around probably. My last working date has yet to be determined, but Roger and I have already talked. I'm not going anywhere. I will still be probably above the bakery at various times of the day. So I have committed to Roger that I will help him with continuity and transition to whatever level he needs me.
Thank you for your service, Randy. Margaret? Anything?
No.
Tiffany? Roger?
Notice that you're gonna be a loss without content, John.
I bet somebody will make it. Public forum, anyone wish to speak to the council?
You say the material is arriving for the 12-5 line?
It's ordered, 10/11 is when the first ship date has it on the
Okay.
purchase order.
My biggest concern right now is nobody's trimming the trees back from these power lines. And where I live, 3 blocks straight west, which is Welch and Coble, every tree along there on the south side is in the power lines. And you go up Coble and Lawrence Street, beside Marler's house, and the trees are completely burned off on the south half of the tree, and the rest is growing up. And if we have a windstorm, Chris's sister's gonna be out of lights, and I know she'll be unhappy, and I sure will be unhappy, because failure to trim trees back. That's ridiculous. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
I just have another comment. I happened to go by Susan's house this weekend, and a half a block south of her is trees growing in the guttering. You've noticed that?
Mhm.
And that one on South Cedar still hasn't been cut down. That's all I have to say.
My mowing man is gonna clean my gutter by my curbs there, yes, but the trees are all past me.
Yeah.
I don't know who owns that property, needs mowed again, but.
Yeah.
I thought they cut them the beginning of the year, but now they're like this tall.
Well, I know this one on South Cedar we cut last year, but it is this tall again.
Yeah.
And you let it grow any bigger, it can
Yeah,
form the curb in the guttering.
yeah. Very true.
I just think we need to be proactive instead. And that up at your place looks really tacky. I'm sorry, Susan.
Anyone else wish to address the council? Being none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
been moved second, any further discussion? All those in
Did it for
favor
one, too.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried.